Now we are going to present our initiative. It's called Kruk Pro. So Kruk for the name of our company that I'm going to talk a bit more in the next slides. And Kruk is in Poland, it means for raven. That's the symbol of the logo of our company. And Pro stands for problem solving, of course. That's the program that we are going to share today. But also it's there for the reminder of the approach that we used. So it's there for proficiency, for professionalism. First, let's present ourselves. So I'm Fernanda. I work in Kruk Italia as a lean leader.
I'm Danilo. I am process optimizer in the customer service department of Kruk Italia.
And we are really happy to be here today because on 2023, we are here in this position watching experiences from other people. And we were really inspired by the knowledge sharing that we saw. And we come back home saying that our goal was to create something that we could come back here and share also what are our findings and learnings and also inspire others. So really hope that this is inspiring for you today. So let's start by presenting the company. Kruk, so that's really nice about Lean because it's like really, we can use Lean in every scenario. And now we are going to talk about Kruk. That's a company that do debt collection. It's a leader in the European market with more of 25 years of experience. In the last year, we just reached the record numbers in recoveries and in investment of new portfolios also, with 257 million euros of net profit and maintaining a 2.7 cash net. That really shows a strong financial for our investors. We also have a really challenging strategy for the next 5 years. That is to invest 3.5 billion euros in the next 5 years, which is the same amount that we invest in the past 25. And to increase our portfolio of clients from 12 million clients to 20 million clients. This expansion of Kruk is come from Poland and Romania as the basis, and then we have 10 years in the Italian market and in the Spain market also. And last year we just moved to France, and it's coming soon also in the UK and the US. Talking about Kruk Italia, as I said, is in the 10th anniversary this year. And we just reached last year the 52% of market share with approximately 200 million euros of investments. That is 30% of the group investments, so really in the growing curve. And also reached the target for recoveries with 7% low costs. Our new position strategy is not just to collect debt, but is also to help our clients to have a different financial education. So to keep it improving in terms of financial education and financial management. And also to, as a leader of this market, to continue to bring modern solutions to help clients to get out of debt. So all that said, I think you can understand why it's needed to have a problem-solving framework in our company. So we have a lot of challenges, and this program was not only about the framework of the process. So it was also about the people. I think we heard a lot on the previous speech also, but it's really important to show that in this presentation you see two important pillars of the program. So we have a strong pillar of creating the framework that will report, define, and help us to solve problems, but also a strong pillar that is related to the cultural approach. So how to develop people on problems of knowledge and capability within our company. So what's the starting point? The starting point was when we realized that we were firefighting every day to solve problems. And doing a problem solving on this problem, we understood that the root cause was that we didn't had capability development in all layers of the company. So basically, when you see the iceberg of ignorance, we only had the knowledge of problem solving concentrated in the senior management. So most probably we just saw roughly 13% of the problems. So we understood that we needed to go deeper. We needed to give the capability to people, to everyone in the company, to all levels of the company, so we could approach better our problems in the daily basis.
And so let's go to the structure. Thank you, Fernanda was mentioning the importance of a structure in order to collect problems and in order to have a process to solve problems. This is what we have now in customer service department. This is for sure the result of a series of experiments, and it's what we are using now in order to collect problems, so cause gap problems, both from top-down and bottom-up level. From the top down, we collect problems during the Oshinkanri. So problems are linked with KPIs, with red KPIs, with problematic indicators. The problems are collected in a problem matrix, which is inserted in a routine in order to keep all the problems monitored. And manager has to assign to problems a status according to the work, because we work problems according to rapid problem solving or more structured problem solving initiative. So a problem can be a KO, because this can happen, it happens a lot of times, because maybe it was an assumption, or maybe it was a potential situation but not verified. But if it is a verified problem, we can have a just do it, so we can solve the problem with a corrective action internally in the team. But if we need something more structured, we can escalate the problem to this central Oshinkanri, the Formula 1. On the bottom up, the situation is totally different, because on the bottom up, we collect problems which are reported by the frontline employees. So what we do is these frontline employees have access every day to a website where they can report us problems that we don't see. Of course, they cannot write whatever they want. It's important for us to fulfill some mandatory part in this website, which are basically the 5W2H. So the importance of what happened, how, why, and so on. Problems are collected in the problem matrix, and again, middle manager here assign a status to the problem. Again, a problem can be escalated to the central, to the Formula 1. The Formula 1 is the Oshinkanri directly supervised by the manager of the department. Here, a problem can become an A3, or even a project, if maybe something bigger that needs the work of the cooperation with other departments. So what we want to underline is this. On the top down, we have the Oshinkanri, which was a tool that was already used in Kruk Italia. On the bottom up, the importance for us is listening to the voice of the people and to make people feel heard. In fact, the process in the bottom up is closed when you come back to the employee who reported the problem with a feedback. It's important for us to come back with a feedback. We use A3 as a tool with everything linked with the analysis of the root causes, so the Ishikawa fishbone, the 5 whys, and so on. And we also have, speaking about people engagement, another initiative. Once per month, people can, in a more creative way, not reporting problems, but giving us ideas for optimization and implementation. This is also for us material to work on in order to create something new in the company.
Yeah, and as we said, we developed 2 pillars. Process, so that was the one that Dani just showed us, and the other part is capability. So when we talk about capability, we have 2 important parts. The first one is knowledge. So there, the main idea is to give the basic knowledge of problem solving to everyone in the company. So we establish an induction training on problem solving for each department. So we have this structure. And then when you go to the capability part, we have created a problem solving path. that you see here. So there we have two possibilities. The first one is we give people the possibility to put the hands on an A3 experience, and then we evaluate this experience. So we created also, from an input of the Lean Summit of 2023, a scoring table for the A3, in which we score 5 categories. So the definition of the problem, the root cause analysis, the countermeasure plan, the teamwork, and the time in which we solve the problem. And based on these two important inputs, we can scale from one level to the other. So we have the beginner, that's the basic knowledge. Then we have the advocate, that's someone that participates in at least one A3. Then we have the specialist, the expert, and the mentor. We have assigned the colors that we know, so the white belt, the yellow belt, the green belt, blue belt, and black belt. And we really believe that this can also, and we have the pins with these circles that people goes around in the company with the pins, so it's easy to identify them. And also, we really believe that this path can help us to create a self-learning organization, because then you would have the mentors that will form new beginners, new advocates, and the cycle goes on. Another important point that we need to mention is that was also mentioned by Toyota before, is that this is also an instrument to help people to grow in their career individually in the company. So we have problem solving as an important soft skill in our skill matrix. So every employee has problem solving as a skill. And having this path can help individually everyone to grow in the company, also focusing on problem solving.
So how did we start? We started at the end of 2022 in the customer service department. And the idea, so starting from this situation like Fernanda was mentioning about these problems and firefighting problems, our manager had an idea which was kind of an agile approach, more or less, because the idea was, let's create task forces to work on problems. We had some people with Lean certificates, so with some theory and knowledge, but not direct capability. Let's create task forces to tackle problems, and let's make a team leader cooperate with a coach, cooperating with a supervisor, and so on, working on problems. We started learning by doing, and I mean literally, because we learn by doing a lot of mistakes in the beginning, because at the beginning we struggle understanding what is the correct problem on which you need an A3 to tackle. How do you pick a problem that you want to work with an A3? How do you scale the problems? Of course, the Liverpool experience in 2023 was essential, and mostly the cooperation with business improvement department was essential for us. So with Fernanda and with Giuseppe, who is here, they were for me partner and teachers in this experience. And we were able to grow. We were able to create the first trigger system to identify and collect problems, the first idea of accountability and responsibility for each step of the process. We grow and the capability assessment table, we grow so much that in 2024 we were able to accept another challenge, which was the one of the iceberg of ignorance, because our top manager said it's time to involve the front line. This time we decided not to proceed learning by doing. This time we decided to go with a more structured plan. The idea was, let's use the first half of the year preparing, training, testing, creating pilot and prototypes. And let's use the other half of the year standardizing and implementing the solutions that worked. In order to involve the frontline employees, for us it was essential the training, because we had to train people about what is the definition of a problem. What is a problem and what is instead a temporary technical issues, what is a complaint. We wanted people to properly understand what is a problem, so when to raise the hand and how to raise your hand. In order to do that, we spread the hand-on culture. We don't mean physically, there is not a rope to pull in the call center or a button to press. It's more about the culture. So it's more about frontline employees understanding that they are the owner of the process and the owner of the problems, and then they can really put some lights on problems that we were not able even to see. And then we decided to go one step beyond, because we said, okay, this is about inviting people to report problems, okay, but what about the capability? Maybe even frontline employees, even if their day-to-day routine is something so different from solving problems, from managing KPIs, maybe they are able to solve problems. So we created a pilot inviting some volunteers, employees, to work on A3. And the results were exceptional because, were great because not only they were able to get to the analysis of the root causes, which was our goal, but some teams were able to get to the end, to solve the problems. We have now some frontline employees with the yellow pin, and we are very proud of that. In 2024, we also created this collection system with the help of Giuseppe that you saw before. Now, Kruk Pro is such a standardized toolkit in customer service that is scalable. And in fact, already, Fernanda's team is working to bring this program in back office, in legal, in other departments. So we are exporting from customer service to other departments, and for free, I want to, underline. So, let's see some results. Let's start from process results, from some milestones. We went from firefighting to self-learning, like we said. We went from zero capability, because we had some people with a Lean certificate, but no direct capability, to have now a system to assess the capability, which is very important for us. Like Fernanda was saying, this ranking system of each A3 based on principle of Six Sigma, so definition of problem, countermeasure, root causes, but also based on Kruk values, so teamwork and time. Now, the score of each A3 is an average of the score of each 5 categories. We were at a level of 2.2 in 2023. Our goal was an average of a score 3, and our level now is 3.5. As for the knowledge, we started with those Lean experts in 2022, these 6 employees. Now we train 100% of customer service employees, and we also created a system so that every new employee on board immediately is involved in an induction training about the problem matrix, about the under culture, and so on. And about capability of people, which means people directly involved in an A3, we went from 0 to 49 in customer service, which is 26% of the entire department. So people who still has at least one pin. Of course, we want to grow with the numbers and also involving other department employees. Let's see some business results. I don't want to give you too many numbers, but let's have a focus on some of them. For example, 83% of our A3 are closed with the gap closed, so we were able to fully solve the problem. You can see also, like here in this line, result of payments. This is something linked with money, with monetary results, so something important for us. In extrajudicial resolution, which is one of our phase of negotiation, we were able to get from 79% to overachieve in 2023. But one of the most important for us is this one, direct debt, also because it was one of the very first that we completed in 2022. Direct debt is a method of payment, as you can imagine, is about the client going to the bank and authorizing the bank to automatically pay the installment to Kruk Italia every month, automatically. We started from a situation of 37 active clients accepting this kind of payment, method of payment. And before the end of the year, 65%. The great results here is the work behind those numbers, because the leader of the task force, one of our contact center team leader. She did a great job because she understood that the root cause was a change management approach, because it was about how advisors were aware of the importance of the product while selling it. And she was able to understand this because in her task force, there was a coach who was listening to the phone calls and evaluating the phone calls. So thanks to this kind of input, she was able to understand the real problem, which was how people used to sell this method of payment. This is for us the key and the strong point of the teamwork.
And just as we said, we were learning a lot. So we started in 2022 and we were learning by doing. And we would like also to share these lessons learned because I think can be applicable also to your reality. So key important here is the change management. So the ad card is essential. And we need to involve the leadership. So active leadership driving the change together with us. We have the same situation here as was presented before. So we are a small team, so we need to get people on board. So that is essential to have it. Also the direct empowerment of the front line, as Danilo was saying. So to give the power to the front line, to all levels of the company. The importance of training, so also to have a network of people that understand what's problem solving. Then we have the learn to define. So this was an important lesson learned because we really focus on this, like how to define what is a problem and differentiate this from a report, from a simple reporting or something in the system. So how to define properly the problem so we could address it. Then based on the definition of the problem, understand what is the tool that we need to use. So at the beginning we thought, so we use A3 to every problem, but then in the middle we understood, no, we need to have other solutions, other tools that we could use, so just do it, just a simple Ishikawa or a simple 5Y, and of course the cases in which we use the A3. And then we have the last part here that is learn to assess. Here is really important to us, the importance of the pilot. So doing a pilot first in the customer service was really important to us to grow this framework in the business. So we learned a lot with the pilot in the customer service to be able then to do the scale up of this framework. And also the capability system, that is the one that we talked, the table in which we can assess the capability of the people that is growing through the problem-solving path.
Yes, last thing I would add about this is really the importance of definition, because I want to make an example about one real struggle that we had. One of our difficulties was not having the tools, not even having the tools to measure the data, and starting an A3 without even being aware if we had the correct report to start that A3, to start that measurement phase. That's why the central Oshin car is called Formula One, because we use this metaphor of would you ever send a race car on the road hoping to win without even putting the wheels? Of course not, but starting an A3 without even being aware of the tools you have to start the measurement phase. So one of the first one is a mistake, like sending a car without the wheels. We want to close with a feedback from one of our front-line employee, Giuseppe. Actually, in this picture, there are two Giuseppe, so statistically, it's a common name in Italy, we can say. But Giuseppe with the microphone is a front-end employee from call center. One of the person involved in the pilot of A3, one of the employee with the yellow pin. As you can read, that's important. As for my experience, for example, because he really sums up the human part of all this. Because yes, we spoke about process, we spoke about deliverables, data, but he is telling us that we were able to make people feel heard. Those employees are really linked with a not easy day-to-day routine. And for the first time, they felt heard. They felt that they could be the main characters and the active participants in the change, in the innovation. That's why all these experience and the current process of raising the hand and reporting problems is important for them.
Yeah, and for us was really nice because at the beginning of the presentation, I told you that the presentation will follow the process and the people part, so process and capability. And when we received the testimonial, the end of the testimonial is really that improving problem solving, he could understand that people and business truly go hand in hand. So I think was the perfect closing of the presentation.
Here you can see some picture of some of our general meetings, because we take these occasions at least twice per year, not only to keep monitoring the A3, because during the general meeting we comment the status of each A3, but also to celebrate, also to recognize people's work. And so you can see some of our employees and some of their results and pins. So thank you for your time, and that's it.
Thank you.
And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for the latest lean content.